Nebuchadnezzar was upset. He said, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my God? Now see, this showing you how important it is not to worship other gods. But how many preachers tell us that nowadays? Don't nobody talk about that. They put a tree up in their house and bow down to it. Don't nobody think nothing of it. Put a tree in the church. And don't know that that's an old false god that they got you bowing down to. People say, oh, no, I don't really worship the tree now. Look, you go through a whole lot of trouble for a tree not to be worshiping. Go find it in the first place, decorate it and all that. Drag it in the house and stand it up and decorate it. Then put gifts under it and bow down and get them out. Then sing to it. Even heard them sing to the tree. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas. Like, what can that tree do for you? But they don't know that's an old God. Don't nobody talk about worshiping false gods. Matter of fact, they say you can worship any kind of way. So, Nebuchadnezzar asked him, do not ye serve my gods? See, that's how you serve them, by following some custom dedicated to them. In this case, they had to just bow down to this statue. You serving the God of Christmas when you go through all of those customs. Like he warned you about Jeremiah 10. He said, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up. Verse 15.
Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well,
he said that we'll be cool. He said, I'm gonna give you a break. He said, I'm a nice guy. I'm gonna give you another chance. I'm not even I'm supposed to put you in the fire now. See, he put him on the spot. See, Satan know how to put you on the spot. He gonna see who got faith. He could have just put him in the fire. It would have been over, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure that would have scared everybody. But no, he want to show he got the power, and he gonna make them. He figured who would deny me? They figured they was gonna skate through this, and I wasn't gonna catch them. Now that I caught them, who gonna go against me when I'm threatening to put them in the fire? Somebody that got some true faith. That's who gonna go against you. So he said, look, if you be ready, I'm gonna play the music one more time, maestro. And if you fall down to the music, it's good. Well, but what?
But if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand?
He said, but if you don't, I'm telling you the same exact hour. You going in this furnace. Can you imagine that? Somebody telling you they about to put you in a furnace? You be wanting to do whatever they say, right? But you have to know when to draw the line. See, this is what true faith would do for you. But you got to know what's important to God already before you get to that point. You can't be trying to figure it out right then. I wonder if God would mind if I just go and bow down. You know, some people was telling them, probably when they wouldn't bow down, everybody was bowing down, some people probably was like, tell them, just get down. And you know, people tell them, God understands. See, he know your heart. Yeah, he know your heart. He know that you can do what he tell you to do. So, you know, people thought they was crazy. They crazy. That's what they do. They say you're a fanatic when you go all the way with doing God's will. But that's what God is telling you to do, isn't he? God is telling you to be a fanatic. How much more of a fanatic you can be when Jesus said, look, don't even love your mother and father more than me. Son, daughter, sister, brother, don't love them more than me. That's being a fanatic, right? How much more fanatic anyway can you be when Jesus said, I want you to love me, not just a little bit? How much? With all your heart, soul, and mind. He said, with every fiber you got, I want you to love me. That's pretty fanatical, isn't it? He ain't playing. See, and people that really know him, they know he's not playing. So he gave them the opportunity. He said, but if you don't bow down this time, the same hour, I'm putting you in the fire. And they knew he wasn't playing. Verse 16.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king.
See, there's some brothers with some true faith. They've been practicing their faith, though. See, they already been backing it up with works. See, they was prepared for a time like this. See, and this is what people need to realize today. They need to be prepared to exhibit some true faith. Not thinking you ain't got to do nothing and God just going to save you. No, they was prepared for this time. That's why they ain't even really had to even study hard or think about it at all. What did they say? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did what?
And answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we're not careful to answer thee in this matter.
They said, Nebuchadnezzar, this is a no-brainer, bro. We ain't got to think about this. Do what you got to do. But we're going to tell you something. Go ahead.
If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
See, they knew one way or another they was going to get delivered out of his hand. Either they got burned up in the fire. That wasn't going to last forever. They going to get burned up, and God going to wake them up, and they was going to end up judging Nebuchadnezzar in the end. Or he was going to get them out of fire. They said, look, if it be necessary, our God, the one we serve, he can do it. See, they had faith in the power of God. And they was doing his will, so they had something to stand on like Hezekiah. They say, if it be so, the God whom we serve, he is capable to deliver us from the burning furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand. But now, even if he don't get us out this fire, this is what we got for you. What? Verse 18.
But if not,
go ahead.
Be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy God, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
See, this is a real faith. But they had something to back it up, too. That's why they got saved. This is real faith. But if you don't know God like you need to, there's no way you're going to be able to do nothing like this, is it? You ain't going to be able to do it. You're going to come up with every excuse, but God understands. Look, God said don't bow down and worship no image, and he will put you under the test. And that's what happened here. And this is an example for us, isn't it?
That's right.
So we should know if we living in the last days and we get faced with the opportunity to bow down or not bow down or worship a false God, then we don't need to do it, right? This is a clear-cut example. Whether or not God saves us, because he don't have to save you immediately. He going to save you in the end. Like Job. He let Job go through all kind of drama. Then he brought Job out of it later. So it don't matter if he saved you immediately. If your faith got to be that I'm going to do his will, and I know he's going to save me one way or another. See, that's what they had. They said, verse 18, read that again.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king.
They said, they called him king. They said, be it known unto you, O king. What?
That we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
They said, we're not going to do it. We're not going to serve your gods, neither are we going to worship the golden image which you set up. What happened?
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury.
Sure he was. He was totally upset now. Because he didn't defy them to his, they didn't defy him to his face. And they didn't mean no harm. They wasn't like lawbreakers just doing evil in the world. But they say, this is where we draw the line at. We'll follow all your rules and regulations until it cross God's line. When it cross God's line, hey, this is our opportunity to stand up. You know, like I seen a comedian one time. He said his mother told him that the teacher made him mad and he can say 2 curse words. See, but he went crazy and said about 256 curse words. But when it crossed God's line, that's your opportunity to stand up against the system, in other words. Go ahead.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it
normally would be heated.
Wont to be heated.
They say heated 7 times. Boy, he was upset because they defied the king. He said, I want it 7 times hotter than normal. I want to burn them to a crisp immediately. I dare them do that. See how upset the man was? Because he couldn't believe that somebody, see, it wasn't nothing against him, though. He just was stupid enough to come up with this law. It wasn't nothing personal against him. They didn't have nothing personal against him. They had faith in their God. Go ahead.
And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
See, he got his top lieutenants. Go ahead.
and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
He didn't want no hitches with this. He was upset. Go ahead.
Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their outer garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Go ahead.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Now, ain't that something? Some people actually died. The people that was throwing them in, that fire tore them up. They had to get so close to the fire to throw them in, they got burnt up. So some people died. Doesn't that show you the power of God? He going to get his most mighty men. He's sending them to the death chamber. Getting his most mighty men to throw them in, and they go up there and throw them in and get burnt up. But then what happened?
And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, was astonished, and arose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king.
They said, yeah, we did. Go ahead.
He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God.
He said, look, we cast in 3 men. Not only that, we cast them in bound. He said, we tied them up and put them in there. Make sure you couldn't even run up out of there. We bound them before we put them in there. They said, yeah, you did. They said, why do I see 4 men in there and they all loose? And one of them looked real special up in there.